Morning children. Today I'm going to continue with the same chapter, the cell. In this part, I'm going to explain you about the function of plasma membrane. Now children, we all have studied the cell membrane or the plasma membrane in the previous video, and I've taken this part in the live class also. I would like to tell that the plasma membrane has many functions. Because of its fluidity means that the bilipid layer and the integral and the peripheral protein which is present in the plasma membrane gives a semi-fluid state to this structure. Therefore, this fluid nature of plasma membrane helps to perform various functions, such as it interacts molecules in and out of the cell membrane. It helps in cell growth, it helps in secretion, it helps in endocytosis, it helps in cell division. So these are the functions which we are going to study in detail in the later part of the chapter. Now the major functions of the cell membrane. Now children, the major function of cell membrane is active transport and the passive transport. Now before I proceed with the active transport, you all know that you have studied in class 10th. It is that the movement of ion or substance from low concentration towards the high concentration, that is to the opposite of the gradient, not along the gradient, it is towards the opposite gradient. Like if you recall that in diffusion it is from high to low, and movements of substance, ions, water, liquid, solid are taking place. But in the active transport, only substance or ions will move. Big substance, small substance, as well as the ions will move from the lower concentration towards the higher concentration. Now in this process, the energy is required. So this type of active transport is useful in maintaining the osmotic pressure as well as the ionic concentration of the cell membrane. Now active transport can be of three types: uniport, symport and antiport. Now uniport is a type of transport in which one molecule or ion crosses the plasma membrane at one site. I just give you a simple example. Like in a class of children, one child wants to go out of the class taking the permission of a teacher. So only one child is going. Okay, so this is basically uniport. Uni means single and port is going out. So only one child is going out. So similarly, in this type of active transport, in uniport also, one molecule or ion, it can be sodium, it can be chlorine, any ion which is required, any substance which is required for the cellular activities. Symport. Symport also called co-transport. It is in this type of transport, two molecules or ions crosses the plasma membrane at the same place, at the same time. Example again, I'll give you a simple example. When two children are together entering the class at the same time is known as symport and is a better example of a symport. Whereas antiport, also called as counter transport, in which two molecules or ions are crossing the plasma membrane at the same time, at the same place, but in the opposite direction. Okay? Again, with the same simple example, that if one child is entering the class at the same time and other is going out of the class, so it means two substance or two molecules or two children, they are going out. One is going out of the class and other is entering the class. So this is again a very good example of a antiport. So symport, antiport and uniport are the ways or the pathways or the direction through which the substance, it can be glucose, it can be sodium, it can be chlorine, whatever, or any ion which is required for to get through the plasma membrane inside the cell, or from inside the cell it has to go out of the cell, then also the same type of transport is required. I hope these are clear now. Now active transport plays again an important role, as I told you, in maintaining the ionic concentration of the cell as well as the osmotic pressure of the cell. Now active transport is of again two types. primary transport and a secondary transport. Primary active transport. In this type of primary active transport, the transport of metabolites. Now children, metabolite is whatever substance which is required by the cell, or which is not required by the cell, which has to be eliminated out, or which has to be entered in the cell cytoplasm. Those metabolites is directly related to the energy, that is ATP. Means in this, if any molecule is trying to cross the plasma membrane, the energy is used. Means the ATP will be used. With the help of this energy molecule, the substance or the ions will go through the plasma membrane. This is basically primary active transport. Now this energy related transport is seen in the intestinal cells or in the kidney tubules, where sodium ion is pumped out of the cell and the potassium ion is being pumped into the cell. I will show you this with the help of a diagram. First, before I proceed to the primary active transport diagram, you can see this is the first diagram is symport diagram, showing that the two molecules are coming out of the cell. See, the blue color layer is the bilipid layer. Okay children, now these are the integral protein present inside or buried inside or embedded inside the plasma membrane. So symport transport is showing that the two molecules are crossing the plasma membrane, okay, or cell membrane in the same direction, from the same place only. See in the antiport, one arrow is opposite to the other arrow. So this shows, this is antiport, this shows that two molecules, okay, they are crossing each other but in the opposite direction. And see in the uniport, only one type of molecule is passing the integral protein. So these are the uniport, symport and antiport diagram. So now, as I have told you the primary active transport, there comes a secondary active transport. Now children, in this type of transport, the transport of glucose is done again to the intestinal epithelium of mammals, whether kidney or I can say intestine. Here to transport glucose, a carrier is required. Means glucose is carried through the cell either by electrochemical gradient or catalyzed by a glucose carrier. Now this I will explain you with the help of the diagram. Now you can see children. See, this is the schematic representation of active transport in the intestinal cell. Sodium and potassium active transport at top and glucose at the bottom. Now see, primary active transport is being shown as sodium is being pumped out and the potassium is being pumped in. So this is done with the help of ATP. Why with the help of ATP? Because here ATPase enzyme is produced, and with this help of enzyme, a gradient is maintained. What type of gradient is maintained? Definitely outside the cell and inside the cell, there will be a difference in the gradient. So as per definition, active transport, movement of molecules will be done from the lower concentration towards the higher concentration. So if the sodium is going outside the cell, it means that the sodium molecules are less in number, less in concentrated inside this concentration inside the cell. That's why they are moving out. Whereas if potassium is coming inside the cell, it means that potassium concentration is less inside the cell. So less outside. That is why they are moving inside. So from lower concentration towards a higher concentration, the sodium and potassium will move. Now the secondary active transport. Now children, we've talked about sodium and potassium. Now we are talking about glucose. Now glucose is a bigger molecule. So when it has to move out or in through the plasma membrane, it will not go alone. It will take a carrier. It will be catalyzed by a carrier. A carrier can be a special type of protein. With that particular carrier, glucose will be transported. So a complex will be formed which will be known as transporter carrier complex, and carrier is going to transport the transportant. So glucose here is a transportant. Passive transport. Now passive transport is a type of transport in which the substance moves from the higher concentration towards the lower concentration. So passive transport can be of two types: simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. So one can say that passive transport is opposite to active and similar to the diffusion. Because simple diffusion, you all know, you've studied in class 10th, that movement of substances from higher concentration towards the lower concentration without using of energy. Now facilitated diffusion. Now children, this is a special type of diffusion. This is special type, although the movement of substances are from high concentration to low, as in the simple diffusion, means there is a similarity between facilitated diffusion and simple diffusion. But as the name says, the movement of substance are facilitated either by channel proteins. Now what are channel proteins? They are integral proteins. Children, integral proteins can also be known as channel proteins. Means they are acting as a channel. They are acting as a path. Okay. And carrier protein, external proteins. So external proteins, I told you, they are the proteins which are floating on the surface of the plasma membrane. So they can act as a carrier protein. So with the help of either with the carrier, the substance is going to cross the plasma membrane, or through the channel, the substance is going to cross the plasma membrane. This type of diffusion is facilitated diffusion. Now I am going to show you in the diagram. Now children, see, this figure shows facilitated diffusion across the cell membrane. Now what type, see, I have made a column. In first column it is written channel protein. What is channel protein? These are opening in the center and can be gated. Can be gated means they can be gated with the help of ATP. I mean, energy can also be liberated here. Electrochemical gradient can be occurred here. So these molecules, I mean these protein molecules which are embedded in the middle, these are known as channel proteins, or they are known as integral protein also, as I've explained you in the structure of fluid mosaic model. So with this help of channel protein, certain substance which has to either cross the cell membrane to come inside the cell, or has to cross cell membrane to go outside the cell, they are easily done. Now with the help of carrier protein. Now carrier protein will help as a carrier, or will help as a friend. Okay. For an example, see, a substance which has to cross the cell membrane, which has to cross the cell membrane either to come inside, either to go outside the cell. So what will carrier protein does is, carrier protein is going to change its conformation. Conformation means shape. So see in the first figure that the carrier protein is carrying a orange color. If you see, a orange color substance is carried by this pink color protein. Okay, now as this orange color substance has to be transported across, this carrier protein changes its conformation or changes its shape, and the substance is released, and again that particular carrier protein will come back to its original position. So this is how facilitated diffusion occurs inside the cell membrane. So children, till here, whatever I have told you about cell membrane, cell wall, please revise it, and then I will explain more, and I'll clear your doubts in the live classes. Thank you.